Disney has a wide variety of films in its catalog, but some are quite fondly remembered more than others. I have a lot of favorite Disney properties, but a lot of those are older films. Not this one though. Big Hero 6 released about 10 years ago now, and ever since its release, it has been one of my favorite films. My absolute favorite animated film within the last decade. And I guess this is one of the last years I can say that. Anyways, today I wanted to explore why that is. Let's go through the plot. Living in the futuristic American-Japan fusion city of San Francisco, 14-year-old Hiro Hamada is a young high school graduate and prodigy obsessed with robot battling. His older brother Tadashi introduces Hiro to his closest friends at the research institute he attends in an attempt to turn him away from the dangerous illegal sport. It's there that Hiro meets Gogo, Wasabi, Honey Lemon, and Fred, a group of young inventors. Hiro is also introduced to the robot project that Tadashi is working on at the Institute, an inflatable healthcare robot named Baymax. Tadashi convinces Hiro to apply to the Research Institute, and Hiro invents tiny microbots that can link together using a neural transmitter. Hiro's acceptance by mentor Professor Callahan is cut short when a fire breaks out, which Callahan and Tadashi get caught in. Hiro struggles with his grief over losing his older brother in the fire, but with the help of Baymax, Gogo, Wasabi, Honey Lemon, and Fred, Hiro works through his grief in order to catch the villain who has stolen the microbots he thought were destroyed in the fire. Hiro and his friends transform into a group of powerful superheroes and come across scandals they never imagined. Here are my thoughts. This film does a great job at introducing us to its characters and really making us care about them all. This was apparently based on an older comic book with superheroes similar to those in the film. Not exactly the same. I've not checked that out yet. Honestly, I just love the movie as is. Its story of love, loss, and teamwork is wonderful. I think it's showing all these young folks that work in not just robotics, but STEM is great. And I'm saying that as someone who is very not STEM inclined. I admire science from afar. Science with all its formulas and math has never quite made sense to me, but dang, I wish I was able to work on cool projects like this. They look cool, and watching this movie always makes me go, dang, I kinda want to do that, without the literal hundreds of dollars that a Lego Mindstorm or similar kits would cost for even just simplistic robotics. But let's move past the cool and adorable, in the case of Baymax, robots. What do I love about Big Hero 6? First of all, the story is slick. It gets across the ideas and connections between characters like Tadashi, Hiro, and everyone from Gogo to Wasabi, Honey Lemon, even Fred, in record time, without in any way sacrificing emotional impact. Because let me tell you, this film throws some emotional punches. The opening scenes that introduce the audience to Hiro, bot fighting, and Tadashi are all within the first 5 minutes. That opening sequence shows us the knowledge and carefree attitude of the main character, as well as just how protective his older brother Tadashi is. He knows his brother well enough to know that he is in trouble, where to find him, and to get him out of that trouble in the nick of time. But he doesn't stop Hiro what to leave to go to another bot fight in just a few minutes after that. Instead, he drives to the school in order to show Hiro what he's working on. Now, I'll admit, I don't know enough science to know if all of the inventions in Big Hero 6 are realistic. Baymax, though, is fairly realistic. And is quite an interesting case. Baymax is based on research that is being done, or was being done at the time, by Carnegie Mellon. Their soft robotics program and inflatable vinyl like Baymax could do simple things like brushing a person's teeth, so it wasn't quite as advanced as our personal healthcare companion, but it was getting there. The other inventions shown within Big Hero 6 at least seem to have what I'll call science-based concepts behind them. For example, the microbots seem to be electromagnetically attracted to one another and controlled using a neural transmitter, both technology which, at least from my understanding, is or was being studied since the time of the film being created. The chemistry-based balls that Honey Lemon uses, both in the introduction of the film and in her superhero chem purse, are quite interesting for how they combine different elements to create reactions when orbs are shattered. Apparently, that whole chart on her purse was meant to be the periodic table, which I never entirely picked up on, but I mean, it makes sense. Now, those are just a couple of inventions which Big Hero 6 casually throws at the audience. Everything within the film seems just sciencey enough to be believable, even if it's uncertain if or how the invention would really work, such as with Wasabi's plasma blades. It's obvious that with this combination of science and superhero logic that the movie can get away with a lot of inventions with minimal real explanations, whether they could be created in real life or not, especially with the knowledge at the time of the film. It's obvious that even though the science-based concepts are ripe within the film, the world that Big Hero 6 takes place in is at least a little bit more advanced than our own. Even though the show and the subsequent fire within the school building are pretty rapid fire, Big Hero 6 still pulls some pretty good emotional punches with the passing of Tadashi and everyone's reactions to it. We may have only known Tadashi for 20 minutes, but damn if I don't cry at Tadashi running into that fire. With the focus on his hat after the explosion, damn it Disney, I wish I could blame this on onions. Stupid emotions and pulled heartstrings. Anyways, after Tadashi's death, we see Hiro's withdrawal from the robotics program he was going to enroll in, and his withdrawal from both his family of Aunt Cass and Tadashi's friends, which have quickly taken Hiro in as one of their own group. With my own experience with depression, I know it's easy to pull away from friends, responsibilities, and family. The fact that Baymax simply calls them mood swings is interesting to me, but dealing with grief can definitely bring out a lot of different emotions and reactions in people. Seeing Baymax question Hiro on what can help Hiro's emotional state is something I've definitely come across. It can be helpful for both the person in the emotional state as well as those around, just to ask how they can help instead of trying to force situations and solutions that may or may not help. While this can bring up difficult questions sometimes, trying to think outside the box about what can help is useful. Suggestions can be nice, but I really appreciate the open question by Baymax about how we can help initially, then after obtaining more knowledge about mental health, trying to take actionable steps to help Hiro. When in the thick of poor mental health, solutions can feel like the last thing that one really wants, as it can seem easier to just stay in the situation right now as it is. It can be difficult to see the point in, let alone actually doing things to improve a situation, such as contacting and meeting up with friends and loved ones, like Baymax suggests and sets up for Hiro. In reality, it is helpful to get out and interact with loved ones when in a mental health crisis, whether that be labeled as depression, grief, or any of those kinds of all-encompassing states of negativity. Yes, sometimes these states can intertwine with one another. One can be depressed and grieving, for example, as could be argued for Hiro within the film. I'm just going to use my own experience here with depression and what I recognize that as within Hiro. However, as we see within the film, it really can help to be around loved ones like friends or family. Although the film obviously takes it to another level with tracking down and fighting the masked figure in powerful superhero costumes, finding closure for a traumatic situation can help too. It's not possible in all situations, but of course it is a driving force for the film. The tracking down and fighting against the person who was the reason for Tadashi's death is a real point of finding closure for Hiro and actually feeling better. Given that it's a superhero film, there's that sense of friendship and bonding as the six of them, including Baymax, work together through the grief of losing Tadashi. It leads them on the mystery behind the masked man, the strange production of more of Hiro's microbots, after losing them in the fire, supposedly, and eventually an interdimensional portal's creation. Hiro, Wasabi, Honey Lemon, Go-Go, and Fred all work together to create these superhero versions of themselves using the tech that they had all already been working on at the college in the beginning of the movie. It's a great way to circle back around to the futuristic science while also staying true to the characters. I want to say the characters behind the masks, but overall, they don't really wear much to conceal their identities. While they are all super suiting up to stop an equally suited up supervillain, the friends are also trying to help Hiro in his journey through grieving, which only gets more complicated as they discover that the masked figure who has stolen the microbots was Professor Callahan, the man who was supposedly trapped in the school fire, the one who Tadashi lost his life trying to save. We can see Hiro in particular having to figure out how to process this, essentially first opting to destroy Callahan with Baymax's help. The anger in confronting the person who is the cause of his brother's death is a pretty visceral emotion. Baymax even tries to stop Hiro, saying that as a healthcare robot, he can't hurt another person, even with all the updated karate moves that Hiro programmed Baymax to replicate. Hiro is cold but impulsive in his mission to go after Callahan, going so far as to take out the healthcare chip from Baymax. This healthcare chip has been established as the main programming Tadashi worked on in order to make Baymax the friendly robot that he is, with the overall mission to help people. In this moment of anger, Hiro removes the healthcare chip and literally throws it aside. This could be seen as throwing aside morals in pursuit of avenging his brother's death as well. Baymax does obey Hiro in trying to destroy Callahan, but isn't successful in doing so. Honey Lemon is the one who finds the discarded healthcare chip and reinserts the chip into Baymax to return the robot to his normal self. She's usually the one that is very caring and charismatic and just a wonderful all-around woman. Hiro, feeling angry and betrayed by his friends not aiding him in a literal murder, flies off with Baymax to fix the robot's damaged sensors. Once alone again with Baymax, Hiro tries again to remove the healthcare chip in order to make Baymax a fighting machine, but Baymax refuses to let him do so, knowing it's not what Tadashi would have wanted, and not conducive to finding closure. Once again, this movie knows how to pull its emotional punches, as Baymax shows Hiro videos of Tadashi testing Baymax, as the robot gradually evolved into the fun, lovable healthcare machine that we know now. It shows Tadashi as someone who truly just wanted to help people.
I'm not giving up on you. You don't understand this yet, but people need you. Wait till my brother sees you. You're gonna help so many people, buddy. So many.
This reminder of his brother's wishes makes Hiro slow down, stop, and consider what he's really doing in his pursuit of Callahan. It gives him a bit of an emotional reset, and time for his friends to show up again, and for them all to regroup in a less murder-spree-y pursuit of Callahan. This time, the group spends more time looking at the portal of Callahan's, discovering that Callahan's daughter went through the portal as a test pilot, without returning before the project was shut down by the government. They take this knowledge to aid in their chase of Callahan, as he goes out to destroy an enemy and that enemy's property. Callahan reactivates a long-since deactivated interdimensional portal out of revenge towards terrible tech mogul Alistair Cray, who previously took a very suspicious interest in Hiro's microbots, and who they originally thought was going to be the big bad evil guy behind the mask, because he tried to steal Hiro's microbots before the fire and everything. But it ends up being Callahan, who is the big bad evil guy and trying to destroy Alistair Cray and Cray's company. Now, these scenes at the end of the movie also show Callahan's almost process of grief, I guess. They show his emotions at losing Abigail, and once the portal is open and Baymax senses a female life sign within the portal, how that emotional journey kind of transforms for Callahan, as he loses Abigail only to find her again trapped in the portal in a state of hypersleep or stasis. And even though we could just leave the movie there with the portal having destabilized and the villain's daughter lost time, we don't. Big Hero 6 has some more emotional scenes yet to come as Hiro and Baymax rocket their way into the portal and rescue Callahan's daughter, at the expense of Baymax, who was too damaged in the portal to be able to make it back fully intact. Instead, Disney, in a beloved character saying goodbye scene, rivaled only in my brain by Bing Bong's scene in Inside Out, Baymax has quite an emotional goodbye scene here. Baymax sends Hiro and Abigail back through the portal using the rocket fist originally made as a superpowered attack by Hiro. Throughout the film, it has been established that the way to deactivate Baymax, and the only way he can go back to being inactive, is by saying,
"Well then, I'm satisfied with my care."
And those who have watched Big Hero 6 will know just what a gut punch this one single line is. Oh boy. Though it is only after Hiro says he is satisfied with his care that Baymax sends Hiro, Abigail, and the Rocket Fist back through the portal, leaving the rest of Baymax just floating out there in that other dimension as the portal destabilizes and we see it just completely collapse after Hero and Abigail are propelled by Baymax's rocket fist, seemingly the only part left of Baymax. We see Abigail being taken to the hospital as Callahan is apprehended and taken into custody, not being able to actually see his newly rescued daughter. Now, of course, though, it's Disney. Despite a really emotional goodbye, we can't leave the entire movie on a down note. Of course not. While after that climactic wrap-up, we see Hero finding Baymax's healthcare chip, the thing that makes our favorite healthcare companion himself, clenched in the rocket fist. One scene transition later, and we find our superhero team back soaring through the skies of San Francisco. Hero, Honey Lemon, Wasabi, Go-Go, Fred, and a newly constructed Baymax are back to protecting their city as the team, Big Hero 6. Now, overall, this movie doesn't hold back with the emotional scenes. It has a good example of how loved ones help one another through grief. Of course, this is also at the heart of a superhero story with robots, humor, and tons of science. I didn't touch on the humor within this video, but the film does still get me to laugh, even after 10 years of watching and loving this film. I love that Scott Adsett's humor, even while playing the robot Baymax, is just so well portrayed. And I mean, there are some old jokes in there, but honestly, it still holds up. Baymax is portrayed as caring, but still has that robots trying to understand humans layer of humor sprinkled throughout the movie. The humor and the way that this movie handles grief is key reasons why Big Hero 6 is one of my comfort films. Now, Big Hero 6 is technically an adaptation of the Marvel Comics series of the same name. I've got to admit that despite my love for this movie, I've yet to read the comics, due to it being reported that only a few issues of the series were read by one of the members of the story team, Paul Briggs, while the screenwriter didn't read the comic at all. Marvel even disagreed with Disney about reprinting Marvel's Big Hero 6 original comics, eventually agreeing that there would be a manga version of Big Hero 6 based on the film instead. So I think that's kind of interesting. Another fun thing that I enjoy is this film continues the tradition of Stan Lee featuring in Marvel superhero films as a cameo. This time, Lee features in a post-credits scene revealing that the rich absentee father of Fred, the secret rich boy of the film, was once a superhero himself. So, fun times. And I mean, Stan Lee gets to be a superhero. It's all a bit of fun. The superhero concepts in this film are really fun, and I find myself really loving them, every individual character on their own. It does make me wonder how accurate this is to the comic book characters. Let me know if I should take a look at Marvel's Big Hero 6 comics and do some kind of video on that. I think it would be an interesting thing to compare, especially with how much love I have for this film, but let me know your thoughts on that. I'd love to if you think it would be a fun thing to do. Now, I didn't talk about every little bit of this film. I know I even glossed over some good chunks of this film in my plot summary, as it were. And to be honest, despite my love for this movie, I don't have every single little bit memorized or every single little bit of merch that I see, despite my incessant need for it. I don't even have a physical copy of the art book, something I now have an eBay price watch on as of the posting of this video, though. So there are a lot of little bits of information that I relearned through making this video, and I kind of love it. Honestly, I just wanted to chat a little bit about this film and my love for the characters within that 10th anniversary kind of area, like 10th anniversary milestone before it truly rolls past. Also, I may or may not be testing my luck by talking about a Disney property, what with how I like to utilize fair use by chatting about clips that I use and, well, YouTube being YouTube regarding people's ability to actually be able to make videos under fair use without getting annihilated, properly falling under fair use or not. So, yeah, I'm skimming over some stuff that I may or may not be able to talk about, and skimming over parts that, while would be fun to mention in passing, aren't truly essential to my thoughts on the film. Just because Disney really is Disney. If you know, you know. Now, that is just a short look at Big Hero 6 and my love and my thoughts for it, my love for this superhero film. If you have any other subjects about LGBTQIA+, or mental health topics, please let me know down in the comments. As always, my resources are in the description. Thanks for watching the OCD MB. Stay safe out there.